What's going on, family? Welcome to the channel. I can't say back to the channel because this is the new Trenton Gibson show. We are here. And yes, man, the inaugural show, the first show. Quick introduction, only introduction we're ever going to do. My name is Trenton Gibson. I am a 3-year pro. And I decided, hey, let me hop on YouTube. Let me hop on the live stream and let's talk basketball. Now, I understand we starting the stream. Not that many people going to be in the stream to start with. So we going to go ahead and jump right into the content. I'm excited. It's going to be good. We're going to go for about an hour and a half, hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes. But we're going to jump right into it. In our first story, okay, our first story is coming through with Kion Anthony. We're going to college basketball. I am a big college basketball guy. I love the game college basketball. It is the last thing we have for basketball, period. NBA, unwatchable a lot of nights. We got overseas, people ain't tapped into that. High school's too easy. College basketball is the last thing that we have that is pure, and they're trying to take that away from us, right? We got the NIL, we got NBA guys coming back. We got a lot of BS going on, but we are concerned. We are worried about what is going on in college basketball. That's my thing. That's what started this channel. And so we're going to get right to college basketball. Okay. Kion Anthony. Now, Carmelo Anthony's son, of course. Okay. He was benched in his last game. Couldn't get any minutes. They're playing the University of Virginia, number 18. Syracuse loses this game. And people are speculating that the coach decided not to play him. I don't think it was going to make that much difference, but the coach decided not to play him because of what Carmelo Anthony said. They had lost to UNC, and Carmelo Anthony ended up posting, you know what I'm saying, shaking my head in the comments. I think that's a lot to bench somebody, but let's see what head coach had to say about the program.
No injuries, concerns. It was just, my decision. Again, it was something that this is a physical team, experienced team, and I just, that was just my decision. Nothing else, no injuries, anything like that. It's no narratives about any of this stuff, man. I just made the decision. That was just my decision that I made.
Now, Carmelo Anthony and Kion Anthony. Kion Anthony is the leading scorer coming off the bench. For Syracuse, he does shoot the most amount of shots. I broke him down. My first ever YouTube video, I decided to break down Kion Anthony. He shoots a lot of shots, potentially ill-advised shots, but he is a scorer. Okay, Kelvin Sampson came out last night to weigh in on this situation. He said, hey, he is just like his dad. He is a scorer. But I think this paints a bigger picture. And one of the bigger pictures that I want to paint in this situation is going to the wrong school, okay? Carmelo said, hey, this is part of the game. After he got benched, this is part of the game. This is what it is. This is how we live. And this is part of basketball, right? It's adversity. That's what Carmelo said. But the bigger picture that we need to paint is one, understanding why are we going to the school we are going to, right? I understand he wanted to go to the school. He wanted to see, Syracuse. His dad went there. The legacy, he can be close to New York where his dad lives. I understand all those things, right? Be with the family. All those things are good. But if you ask me, Kion, why would you choose Syracuse outside of your father, right? Syracuse coach about to get fired, okay? You're going to end up probably having to transfer, okay? Or you come into a new coach who's maybe not even trying to sign up for all that, right? He doesn't want to be in the Kion Anthony business. He doesn't want to have Carmelo Anthony. He doesn't want to have that spotlight. He just wants to run his program and win his games, okay? So why go to Syracuse, right? When's the last NBA basketball player that they have produced? Malachi Richardson, maybe? That's the last one I can think of. Syracuse is not the place to play. They're not the place to go. Now, what eventually will happen? Okay, so Kion Anthony, is, in my opinion, the same situation as Bronny James without his dad being in the league, right? Bronny James was good enough to be an NBA player, and Kion can definitely be good enough to be an NBA basketball player. But if you don't have the right situation, if you don't have your father in there to get you drafted, now this is the situation Kion Anthony's finding himself in. So, option A, like I said, he stays, decides not to transfer. You got a new coach coming in, because this coach will not be there next year, most likely. You have a new coach coming in, and what that coach is going to say. He's going to say, I want to run my program. Now you go into year 2, you're still coming off the bench, you're still not getting minutes, draft stock is plummeting, right? You see all your peers, he was a McDonald's All-American, all those guys you're in the McDonald's All-American game with, they go in and they go to the draft. So now you're looked at as, how did you not get there? Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2, you transfer, okay? Obviously, you can transfer 2 different ways. You can transfer, parallel. You can go to an SEC school. You can go to another ACC school. You can try to go Big Ten and keep it to a big-time program, but you can run into the same problem, right? You can run into the same problem of you not being able to compete at the level, to get the minutes, to get the shine. And then once again, then you got to come back for a junior year. You're only averaging 8 points a game. And for, a 6'5" 2 guard, not that athletic, it's going to be tough, right? Now, the last thing is he transfers down. You go to a mid-major, and this is probably one of the best things you can do, right? You can transfer down, you can hoop, you can be yourself, you can go to a mid-major conference, you can go to A10, which is still a good conference, Missouri Valley, you know what I'm saying? Some of these mid-level conferences, you can go there, but if it doesn't work out, you might as well kiss the dream goodbye, right? Then you're sliding down, and then we're going to be talking about you as a 4-year guy and a guy that can't make the NBA. Now, does this really matter? No, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Kiyan Anthony is going to be okay. He's got his father. He's got that money on. That is going to be okay. But this is that same scenario that we were dealing with Bronny James, right? Same thing for Bronny James. He got to go out. But let's say Bronny James comes back to USC. Okay, he had his excuse. You know what I'm saying? Just like Kiyan has his excuse. Bad coaching, right? Bad system. You're benching your leading scorer off the bench. That doesn't make any sense, right? But if you go Bronny James, if Bronny James were to come back to USC and he averaged 6, I think his freshman year, if he averages 6, 8, another mediocre year, then the jury is out, right? Bronny James had the excuse, had the heart problem, didn't have the preseason, and all that stuff is legitimate. Not having a preseason can really hurt you. But if, you know what I'm saying, if Bronny James were to come back and it not be good, then that's the problem. Second thing, Bronny James transfers, right? He transfers. If he goes there and doesn't make it happen, it's a problem. And this is what scouts are looking at. These are the things that really need to go into this recruiting process. And guys like Kiyan Anthony, Bronny, a lot of these, college guys' sons or NBA guys' sons commit to college. You had to be in the perfect situation. Their commitment is probably more important than the regular guys, right? Because the regular guy doesn't have the scrutiny. Okay, Kiyan Anthony, for who he is, I don't know if he's a top 20 guy in his class, to be honest. I know he's McDonald's All-American. I know there's things that go into that, being a Jordan athlete, McDonald's All-American, top 100 guys. Nike gets, 2/3 of the top 100 guys just off being EYBL, right? That's how the game works. So I don't really even know if he's top 20, top 30, but it just is what it is, you know what I'm saying? This light is on him, and that's why it makes it so difficult. Now, if I had to give my take, I think Kiyan Anthony will come back. Actually, no, he's transferring. He's done. Both this coach and Kiyan Anthony will not be there next season, right? But speaking of USC, speaking of Bronny James, we're bringing it to our next subject, which is Alijah Arenas. Now, we have Alijah Arenas, son of Gilbert Arenas. He came back and this is the same concept. Okay, this is the same concept. Alijah Arenas comes in like Bronny James. Alijah Arenas was literally in a coma in the preseason, then hurts his knee, tears his meniscus, misses part of the season. Okay, so he misses the first part of the season, comes back late January. Okay, comes back late January. I think this is his 6th game. They take down Penn State last night. He gets the game winner. We're going to break that down, watch that in a second. But these first 5 games that he was playing, I think USC was 3-2 in it, but he was not playing efficient basketball, right? When he came back, I think he was 3 for 15. He had a 9 for 23 game, just not very efficient. And for being a scoring guard, you know what I'm saying? He has not had over 2 assists in a game this season. For being a scoring guard, the NBA wants you to be efficient, especially in college, especially when you're the main guy and you're going to have the ball in your hands. But let's go ahead and tap in and see what we got from Alijah. All right, so here we go. We catch it. Wing. And this is a real sloppy game winner. But nonetheless, it's a game winner. 0.7 seconds left at Penn State. Now, Penn State is dog water. Penn State, I think, is the worst team in the Big Ten. They might have not won a game yet. If they have won one, it's only been one game. But for the first 9 games, they hadn't won a game. Let's break this down, right? So he catches it. I mean, we got to know that Alijah is going to shoot this ball. He just came off a game with 23 shots. Up to this point, he has 16 shot attempts. And so he puts it on the floor here, right? Turns his back once, turns his back twice. You would think we would have some help side defense, okay? You would think we would have some help side defense. But like I said, Penn State sucks. And if you look at this arena, look at the stands. There's nobody in this arena, right? This looks like mid-major basketball. So that just tells you the state that Penn State is in. But yeah, so Alijah Arenas. Now, he does have the case to be the best perimeter basketball player in this league. I mean, in this draft. Coming into the draft, he does have that case, okay? I think he can be better than Kingston Flemings, Acuff, Wagler, okay? He can be better than all these guys. Now, I know those guys are primarily point guards, and he'll play the 2. He has the size advantage on all these guys. He's 6'6", long arms, has the bag. I was talking to my homie, my best friend. He is a college basketball coach. We were talking, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I looked at his first 5 games. I broke down his film. Very inefficient. He gets to good shots as far as he can create his open shot, step back, side step, does his thing, smooth, rhythm, all that. All the stuff that Gil has. This is no surprise that Elijah's going to be tough. But the problem lies in that he does not pass the ball. You know what I'm saying? First game back, 15 shot attempts. And I get that for being the scorer. But my main point was, does he need to come back? Right? Does he need to come back and actually benefit from this? Because if he comes back, has a full offseason with Gil, can stay healthy, can be the center of this USC team, then yes, he can be that guy. There is no question he would average, 18, 20 points a night, be one of the leading scorers in college basketball. There is no doubt about that. That was my opinion at first, right? I know I said with Kiyan Anthony, with Bronny James, first off, why is everybody going to USC? I know people want to stay home, but USC, once again, just like Syracuse, does not develop any basketball players, okay? Does not develop any pros. You had Mobley, Bronny. Obviously, these guys were already going to be pros, but I'm saying they don't really add nothing to their game when they're at USC. But so I was saying, does he need to come back? Okay? But with an efficient game, and our conversation was like, man, he just needs to have one game, an efficient game, and that can really be the catalyst to him having a good season, right? To him turning it around. They've won 3 straight, I think. USC has won 3 straight. Maybe, just maybe, they get themselves into the NCAA tournament and he can shine there and get off there. Then, okay, I think he leaves, okay? I think he could leave right now, but there's no reason to, in my opinion. He has good money, right? Gil already has the money. USC is going to pay him. They will give him the money. He has a full offseason to prepare, to get better, to come in, get his game right, and kill, you know what I'm saying? And lastly, like I said, it's his show, right? So he doesn't need this. He has the excuse already built in, just like Bronny does, just like Kiyan does. And I know we're talking excuses. I know that never sounds good as professionals. We don't want to make excuses. But what you have to understand is narrative is everything going into the NBA draft. His dad wasn't one and done, I don't think. Narrative is everything coming into the NBA draft, okay? So if he can have the narrative, just like Bronny could have, where, hey, car accident, I wasn't able to practice, I wasn't able to get my game right, you know what I'm saying, torn meniscus and a coma in the same calendar year, people will understand, like, all right, you understand what I'm saying? And then he can get his game right and get better. And that's what this all is about. In basketball, you only have one chance to make it, right? You only have a certain window to make the NBA. And going overseas is not a problem, right? Going overseas, missing a shot, being a second-round pick, none of that stuff is a problem. But you have such a small window. If you can capitalize on that narrative, that, hey, I was hurt. I'm really like that. I'm better than all these guys. I'm going to come back and do my thing, then I really think, you know what I'm saying, he has a chance to make it happen, right? So we are going to now pivot, okay, basketball terminology. We are going to pivot from college basketball, my favorite. We're touching the NBA, okay? Recently, NBA has announced the all-star lineups, okay? The all-star lineups. Yes, they already announced the regular all-star lineups, but now they announced the all-star lineups for the, you know what I'm saying, the shooting stars, the three-point contest, and the slam dunk contest. Now, as normal, this is dog water, right? In the last probably decade, you know what I'm saying, since Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, okay, they had it popping. But since then, this stuff has been dog water. It's been dirt ball. It's been bad hoops. So we're going to go through it, right? I'm always a believer. Saturday night was my favorite night. We know Friday isn't talking about anything. You know what I'm saying? We know Friday all-star game with the rookies. That used to be cool, but now too many formats, so we don't care about that anymore. The celebrity game, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you're 12 years old, you'll care about that. Legitimately, that's not a shot. Like, you know, your kid, you see Drewski out there playing. All right, cool. We'll see Drewski playing. But outside of that, here we go. We got starting off with the shooting stars. Okay, so this one, you know, they took the skills competition out. I don't know why they took the skills competition out. In my opinion, that was the best one. That was actually my favorite competition, maybe because I'm a PG, maybe because that was the star of the night and kicked the night off right. But here we go with the shooting stars. You know what I'm saying? We got 4 teams. We got the Duke team. We got the All-Star team. We got the Harper family in there. And then we got the Knicks team in there. I think it's the same concept as you're doing the little 3 people. They all shoot different shots. And you know what I'm saying? That is what it is. They all shoot their different shots. They get to it. If I had to pick somebody, I'm gonna go with Team Knicks. They got Brunson, Cat gon' hoop. Then you got Allen Houston. He can shoot as well. I can't go Team Cameron. That's not a shooting team. Knipple can shoot, but that's not a shooting team. Team All-Star. Nah, Scotty Barnes in there, brick jumper. And the Harper family could be all right, but I'm going Team Knicks with that one. Then we moving on. The second thing is the three-point contest, I believe. Now, one thing that is surprising to me about this three-point contest is how, you know what I'm saying, how do we have Damian Lillard in the contest, right? I understand he's 2-time champ. He's done his thing. But Damian Lillard in the contest? I don't know about that. I didn't even know he could, you know what I'm saying? I've seen him working out, but I didn't know if he could hoop, right? So we have Dame Lillard. We got Con Knipple, Devin Booker, Maxey, Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Bobby Portis. I guess Bobby Portis shooting it this year. He can shoot. Been working with Lethal Shooter and Norm Powell. Now, my instinct is to take Norm Powell. The Heat guys usually win, right? You got Ray Allen, Tyler Hero. Then they had 2 more. Duncan Robinson won. They have guys to win. But I think Norman Powell, he has that jumper, but he jumps on his jump shot. He jumps a little too much, so I don't know if Norman Powell is the play right here. So who else we got? I think I'm going to take my pick. Donovan Mitchell, no. Jamal Murray jumps too high, no. Knuppel could be a good pick. I'm going to go D-Book. D-Book's been quiet this year. He's had a good season. The Suns have had a good season. We've had Dylan Brooks doing his thing over there. But I don't know if you know what I'm saying, if Devin Booker has gotten his due, right? I think the underdog, he's going to be quiet. He's going to come in. He's got a smooth shot, doesn't jump too high. Buttery, we're feeling good. I don't even know where the All-Star weekend is at this year. Oh, it's in LA. Yeah, perfect. Devin Booker going to win it. Yep. So we got Team Knicks. We got Devin Booker. Who else do we got? Dunk contest. Okay, now here's the thing with the dunk contest. Dunk contest is whack jumper. I don't know anybody in this dunk contest, okay? I know Jace Richardson. I know Jackson Hayes. I've seen them 2 play, but Keyshawn Johnson, nah, I can't even talk on Keyshawn Johnson. And Carter Bryant, can't talk on Carter Bryant. So I've seen Jace Thompson's dunk reel this year. It was extremely mid. I don't know if he's really a dunker like that, so we're going to have to go. I'm going to go Carter Bryant. I feel like Jackson Hayes going to pull some stuff out, but being a big man makes it tougher. He does have the LA advantage, home guy being able to do it, but I'm going Carter Bryant. Now, let's talk about All-Star Weekend as a whole. There's been so much hate. You know, Sengun is now in the All-Star game. He's my vote for most overrated player in the league. But Şengün was an all-star game. They added Kawhi Leonard to the all-star game. So they're feeling good. Okay, we got the teams. We got the Saturday night, which I always hold out hope for Saturday night. I always hold out hope. It is the best chance they have. And I think the Saturday night, truthfully, carries momentum into Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Since Saturday night has been trash, Sunday has become trash. Now, let's talk about this dunk contest, okay? Because three-point contest, you can't say a three-point contest is not good, right? We can't say that. You know what I'm saying? We can't say the shooting stars is part of the problem. The skills competition was cool. So where is the problem in this all-star event, okay? Obviously, everybody wants the dunk contest. Now, here is something I have not heard that many people talk about, or really anybody talk about when it comes to the dunk contest, okay? We want our stars. People say LeBron ruined it, things like that. But here is the take. The stars in the NBA are not dunkers anymore, right? Back then, obviously these guys were doing basic dunks back then, okay? I forgot who it was, but he was talking about on TikTok, he was talking about Kenny Smith throwing it between his legs out the backboard and turning around and dunking it. And like that was hot stuff, okay? That's really whack jumper. Anybody can do that now. So that's part of the problem, right? A weirdo dunk like that could really be pressure back then. Now that is not the case, okay? So what do we have to look at now? The stars are not dunkers now, okay? We had Vince Carter back then, T-Mac, you know what I'm saying? You had Kobe, Mike. The jumpers were also the best players. Now that is not really the case. Obviously, we have Zion. We know with the weight issue. Ja is a good leaper, but I don't know if he's a good dunker, right? I've never seen Ja do between the legs or some, you know what I'm saying, Aaron Gordon type of dunk. I haven't seen Ja do that. You know what I'm saying? Who even in the All-Star game right now, let's just take the NBA All-Stars. Which one of them is really cranking dunks? No, that's not how the game is played, right? Giannis don't have a dunk package. He runs through the lane, takes his 3 steps, dominates. SGA don't have a dunk package. Jokic, Luka, how about that? Put them together. They don't have dunk packages. So this is, in my opinion, it's not really, like, what can the league really do? You have no choice but to put, you know what I'm saying, Rashad Johnson, you know what I'm saying, Carter Bryant in there. That's who you have. That's the choice you have because the star power is not there. Now, this three-point contest, that's star-studded, right? LaMelo Ball is not a dunker. You know what I'm saying? Trae Young's not a dunker. The guys in our Tatum's not a dunker. Brown, he did the dunk contest. I think he did some weirdo stuff too, but that's neither here nor there. That's the problem with our All-Star Saturday. And so when we have a weak All-Star Saturday, we have Matt McClung, which no disrespect, he won 2, he did his thing. But Matt McClung don't bring the star power that Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, all them guys. I think Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, that's the same realm with Kobe in one of his last All-Star games. And we were making it happen, and guys were starting to compete just a little bit, right? But now this weak momentum going into All-Star Sunday, and then people want to change the what's it called? We want to change the format. We want to say, hey, let's do 3 teams. Like, that's horrendous. Let's do Team USA versus the world. Like, what are we doing, man? What happened to East versus West? What happened to suiting it up? One thing I wish we had in the All-Star game, I wish we had the old jerseys, right? The OG, I really like when teams would rock their own jerseys, right? When teams would rock their own jerseys, the Lakers guys rocking Lakers. I remember KG had the Timberwolves, Kobe had the Lakers on, Mike had the Bulls on. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that is cooler. But I understand we have to sell merchandise. I understand we got to sell merchandise. Merchandise is cool. Got to sell it. So, okay, we have the All-Star jerseys. I get it. But I say all this to say I don't know if it will ever get better, right? We're just in that realm now. Like, that is the world we live in. I don't know if All-Star Weekend will get better. We see the Pro Bowl and how that's a laughing joke. And those guys have off, right? They play their season, and now the season's over. They could, play another game. They could go full out in something, and they won't do it. So these NBA guys who get, a week off, I'm not sure that they want to do it. I'm not sure that they can do it, and I don't blame them, right? There's nothing really in it for them. You got guys making $40 million. You say, I'll give you $500,000 if you win. that's not moving much needle for some of these guys, man. So, I mean, that is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you have win 3-point contest? I know the dunk contest is far-fetched. I know shooting stars, but I'll be tapped into the 3-point contest, man. Who you think is going to win that? Go ahead and drop a like on the video, man, and comment and subscribe, man. And yeah, bro. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on right here. Now, we're going to move back on to some NBA basketball, okay? I know we talked All-Star. We talked some college. Let's get this NBA basketball going, and we're going to start with none other than my boy James Harden. I am a Harden fan. Got traded to the Cavaliers. Okay, they played their first game last night or 2 nights ago on Saturday. We had a big weekend. Played 2 nights ago. Cavs beat the Kings 132 to 126. Like I said, it's the first game with James Harden. Harden had 23 points, 8 assists. Mitchell had 35 points and 4 assists. Okay, so here we go. Let's tap in. Let's see what we got. All right, so here we go. And Harden just getting guys early. I put a lot of Harden's clips in. He got Allen going early. Here we go. Get an easy one for D. Mitchell. You understand what I'm saying? Come down. And this is the pick and roll that's going to work, right? Allen's a good roller, can leap, can jump. And if you tag that roll, obviously you got Donovan Mitchell on the backside. And Harden can make it happen. Donovan Mitchell is making it happen. And it was good to see them close this game late, right? They closed the game late. You got Keon Ellis on the team. Harden knocking down threes late, and they're happy. They're having a good time together. The team looks good, and they both combined for 8 for 8 on free throws towards the end of the game. You understand what I'm saying? So this is a good look. Now, we can quickly talk about the Kings, right? The Kings are a trash bag. The Kings suck. They got my favorite player. They got my man, Zach LaVine, out there on the Kings. But yeah, man, I mean, he didn't play last night. It's a bad roster. You got Russ, Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Sabonis played 2 nights ago. Bad roster. So is this a great win? Only winning by 6. Is this a great win? I don't know. But you go on the road. You make it happen. They had just beat the brakes off the Clippers. Now they're beating the Cavs. You understand what I'm saying? They are doing their thing. So let's go into how I feel about this Cavs team. Now, why did they trade Garland? They needed somebody that was going to be healthy. It's not like Garland was not playing good basketball. Garland was playing good basketball. He was doing his thing. He played well. And when he did play well, they were a number 1 team in the East. They did their thing. They looked like the favorite. And everybody calls them frauds, but Garland got hurt. And then what's going on this year? They're sitting at 4th in the East. Garland is hurt. And not to blame it all on him, but they brought in Lonzo, didn't work out. Okoro wasn't really fitting, got rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Hunter, they had to get off him this year. And so I think the acquisitions of Dennis Schroeder, I think the acquisitions of Keon Ellis can help. But obviously you just need guys to play. And as we can see in this entire realm of, this NBA stuff, teams that make the championship most of the time are playing against injured teams, right? You got the Pacers last season. I mean, the Celtics, Tatum goes out. The favorite, Tatum tears his Achilles. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with with just pretty much any team that gets to the finals. A lot of times it's through sometimes a crazy amount of injuries, but injuries really play a part in these things. So if you can get Harden to stay healthy, you can get Donovan Mitchell, who's quietly playing like the best 2-guard in the league right now. I think you can make the finals. Now, the problem I have with it, I don't have a problem with Harden and Mitchell playing together. I know off top, easily you could say, hey, they might step on each other's feet, things like that. You could also argue Harden is probably a better mover of the basketball than Garland is, right? Harden can really command the offense, run the offense. And I think he's 36, right? He can move. He knows how to pace himself, right? So he understands he don't need the ball every single time. He can move the ball. And so what this means, what it really comes down to for me when I talk about this Cavs team is simply trying to understand their weak points. And I think the weak point of Jared Allen is still huge. I think if you play a good big in the playoffs, I mean, the Celtics got Vooch. Vooch is not a rim protector to save his life, but on the offensive end, he can give Allen some problems, right? Allen is not the best defender in the NBA from the big man perspective. He's not that good of a defender, right? So that can be a problem. I think the only depth they have at the big, they got Thomas Bryant coming off the bench. They got another guy, but not much rim protection coming off the bench. I also think perimeter defense can be a problem. Now, if you can outscore guys, you can put up 132 points. Kenny Atkinson's a good offensive coach. That helps, right? Kenny Atkinson can move guys. They have good movement. That's what allowed them to get the #1 seed last year. But if you're not doing that and you're not outscoring guys, I think this defense can be a huge problem for this Cavs team. Now, they do have decent depth. But yeah, man, this Cavs team is good. And I will break this down further tomorrow with my trade deadline video. You know what I'm saying? Going fully deep into what the trade deadline looks like, what it will, the real impact of what these teams are dealing with. Because, as things are going, when we first get this trade deadline and we first see these things, it doesn't necessarily hold up, right? It doesn't uphold. And so, yeah, man, I think this Cavs team will be good. Now, do I think it really moves the needle? Do I think they win a championship? No, I don't think so, but I do think it helps. But let me know what you think in the comments, man. Go ahead and like, subscribe on the video, and let me know. Do you think Harden is the way to get themselves a championship? Or can he just stay healthy enough to get them, in striking distance, and then we can worry about a championship? All right, man, here we go. We are going back to college basketball. Like I said, my favorite. We had a big game this weekend. We had a big game. We know what game it was. UNC Tar Heels versus the Duke Blue Devils. Maybe the best rivalry of college basketball. I think it is. My coach asked me about it today. He said, what happened in the game? We will see what happened in the game, but I think this is the best rivalry in college basketball, and we're going to break it down. We're going to watch it, see what we got going on. And this was the story of the game. So right here, Duke takes out real early, right? I mean, Caleb Wilson kept UNC in the game. You know what I'm saying? Duke got up as much as 14, but Caleb Wilson was making tough shots, right? He had 19 points in the first half, 19 of his 23. But yeah, man, Cam Boozer did his thing, 24 and 11. And Cam Boozer was a problem all night, okay? He was the steady hand for this team. Now, this game was decided in the second half by the bigs, right? This was a big man game. I think both these teams are headlined by the big men. Obviously, we got Cam Boozer, we got Caleb Wilson, but I think the guard play for these teams is always going to be the X factor, especially with Duke. I'm not very, happy or proud or enchanted by what Duke has to offer at the guard position. I know we have Cam Boozer's brother. We have some other guys. We have Dame Sarr out there on the wing, able to shoot, able to slash. UNC has Seth Trimble. But outside of that, I think this is the weak point for both of these teams. Now, here we go. The big man for UNC right here, Vesser, was non-existent to start the game, right? First half, he had no points. I think he ended with around 15, but he had some big shots. And this is late right here, I think, to tie the game. Greens it, good shot. And so now we're going to the last possession for Duke. And this just highlights to me a problem with the Duke Blue Devils, okay? And when I say problem, obviously Duke's a great team. They have a great coach. And they're a good team, emphasis on team, okay? But when it comes down late possession, last possession, I don't really want my four-man to be 35 feet from the basket, and he's going to be in isolation. We called a timeout, and that's what we have is a 1-4 low for Cam Boozer. right? I think what happens in March, right? When we go into March, Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16. Cam Boozer a finisher. He's a finisher of the play, in my opinion. I don't think he's a facilitator. Once again, I'm not criticizing Shire in his decision making. He's his best player. Put it in your best player's hands. I understand that, but I think it's a glaring issue of what we have to give it to our big, right? Because he probably is the best option. So here we go. We're isolating once again. Cam Boozer, late game isolation, gets to a good move. In fairness, this is makeable. He could have made this shot. Misses it. All good. Caleb Wilson tips it out. And this is the final possession for North Carolina. Time is ticking down. We have it in a guard's hands. Able to get by Cam Boozer. Gives up a drive. We have full body help. Kick. Wide open shot. Gamer. Crowd storms the court. And that is that. Now, I don't think either of these teams are championship level. Okay. I have been a relatively harsh critic of Hubert Davis. I don't think he's the best coach. And you know what I'm saying? This is a job-saving win for Hubert Davis. I don't think he's that good of a coach, but if he wins this, does good in the NCAA tournament, does good in the conference tournament, obviously he'll have his job back. UNC is not a firing type of program. I'm not just going to be firing guys, but I just don't think UNC is a place, once again, where you can go develop. Now, let's talk Caleb Wilson. Like I said, 23 points, 4 rebounds, did his thing in this game, and kept his team in the ball game, right? I have drawn conclusions. I have drawn the circle and completed it by saying I think he is Kevin Garnett level. Now, when I did say that in one of my breakdowns, I did get some flack. I did get some pushback and say, no, just because he's long, tall, he's not Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was unicorn, one of a kind. And I think we have to understand the game has changed. Okay, the game has changed. In the 4-man in today's basketball game, Kevin Garnett in today's basketball game is not, he's still Kevin Garnett. He's still great. But that's not really, he wouldn't be the focal point, right? Who's the 4-man that's a focal point, really? Okay. You know, LeBron, I guess, now is a 4. Kevin Durant's a 4. Giannis is a focal point at the 4. But Giannis is a different player than what Kevin Garnett was. But we see guys slide to the 4. Carmelo Anthony slid to the 4. We see these guys go to the 4 to extend their careers, right? Because the 4 is kind of an easier position. You're not asked to do as much. And a lot of nights, the 4-man potentially is the least impactful player on that basketball court. You understand what I'm saying? He's the least impactful player, and that is not a bad thing. But a lot of times these guys are shooters, so I think he has the ability to come in and be long, be athletic, be good on defense, and his shot is a good-looking shot. It's not a bad shot. It's not a wonderful shot, but it's a good-looking shot. And I think, once again, I think he could have the highest ceiling in this draft. Debansa's good, but Debansa has a chance to be a bust. I think, you know what I'm saying, Peterson is very good, but you never know with that health stuff. Boozer is good, but I think he has a high floor, and that floor is very close to his ceiling. So I think Caleb Wilson, if you're that 4th, 5th, 6th pick, you have a chance to get the guy that everybody's like, why didn't we get him? You understand what I'm saying? But let me know what you think about Caleb Wilson in the comments. Is he Kevin Garnett worthy? Or am I tripping? You understand what I'm saying? Am I tripping? Should he be the 4th, 5th pick and just another guy that's athletic? You know what I'm saying? But I think he has it in him, especially as an American. I think he can make it happen, man. So let me know what you think in the comments. Go ahead, drop a like, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. We going in all year. All right, so we covered UNC basketball. Covered the Cavs. We've covered some college. Now it's time to really wrap it up, okay? Let's wrap it up. Let's go quick hits. And the segment's not called quick hits. I don't have any segments yet, but the segment's not called quick hits. But it was a big weekend. It was a big weekend for college basketball. It was a big weekend for the NBA. Obviously, we had the Super Bowl. That was a ginormous dud, in my opinion. But let's go to the wrap-up. We have Michigan State taking down Illinois. Number 10, Michigan State. Number 5, Illinois. They played at Michigan State. They played in Michigan, and they won in overtime. Okay, Michigan State won in overtime by 3 points. Jeremy Fears. That's Jeremy, right? Yeah, Jeremy Fears had 26 points, 15 assists. Keaton Wagler, if you call him Wagler, the Illinois fans will be on your neck. Keaton Wagler had a tough night, 16 points, 2 for 16 from the field. Not a good enough performance to get it done. And before we break down this game, we got to highlight Jeremy Fears. Okay, Jeremy Fears has been on bull these last 3 games. And we're going to break this down right here. We're going to show it. Jeremy Fears doing what he's doing, fouling, kicking on people. Look at this leg stick out, right? Sticks his leg out. And, I'm not a fan of this. He kicked the guy in the, Draymond style, kicked him earlier. So here we go. Sticks the leg out. Now, I think this right here, if you can see, as soon as he sticks the leg out and hits him, he turns his head and looks at the ref to the side. And to me, that's a telltale sign. When you do some foul play, you do something in the classroom, you do something in front of your parents that you might not should have done. Okay, you might have shouldn't have done that. You always sneak a quick look to see if they saw it. And if you meet eye contact, it's grits. Okay, your raps. They know you got caught. But in this situation, I think, I think the verdict is out. The verdict is out. He is dirty player. Okay, he's dirty player. He's foul play. And I don't want to be the guy that had to say that, but I think he is, man. I think he's doing this stuff on purpose, rage baiting. And to be honest, you have 26 and 15. I think that really just takes away from your greatness, from your performances by clouding this stuff up in the game. You understand what I'm saying? I think that takes it up. 26 and 15, 3 turnovers. A 5 assist to turnover ratio is elite. You play an overtime game. And Michigan State needed this. And I was talking to my homie, when I saw this on the slate, I'm like, Michigan State all day, right? They had just lost 2 in a row. They're back at home. Illinois has been playing great. Wagler has been playing great, had 43 about 2 weeks ago. He's pushing his name up in there to be one of the top guards in this incoming draft. This is the best freshman class we've seen in a long time. So, I think this stuff is not disappointing, but unreasonable for Fears. But yes, man, Michigan State had to win this game, right? They're still number 10 through the losses and stuff, but Michigan State had to win this game, and they did. That's how you do it. This is just kind of the way basketball works, right? So we're going to move on. We're going to check in on Houston taking down BYU 77-66. BYU has 4 straight losses in the season. So pretty much right when they got in the thick of the Big 12 schedule, things started going down for BYU. Flemings had 18 points, 5 assists. The Bansa had 28 points. The Bansa, Richie Saunders, do their thing, right? They do their thing every time, have good performances. They're making it happen. And it's easy to blame the other guys, right? It's always easy to blame the other guys, the role players, the bus riders. It's always easy to blame those guys. But I think, that's where BYU is running into the problem. They got their wings. They got Saunders. They got the Bansa. Those guys are going to perform. Coach is going to put those guys in, areas to perform. I think the problem lies, the problem lies where the Bansa is not and Saunders are not supported, right? The guard play might not be the best, PG play. And then the big man, you know what I'm saying? I know this for sure. They're not protecting any rim over there at BYU. Whereas Houston, you know what I'm saying, led by potentially the most intriguing or the best prospect, Kingston Flemings. And the reason why I say best prospect, I think we talked about Elijah Arenas. Arenas has the bag, has the ability, has the height, has the bloodline. Yes, he could be the best basketball player in this draft, the best basketball player in this class, the best scorer. I fully agree on that. But we have A-Cuff as well. A-Cuff, hard-nosed guard, strong, Aki, get to the buckets. But we seen guys like that, if you don't contribute other things on the basketball court, we just saw Cam Thomas, right? I think A-Cuff gets his teammates more involved than Cam Thomas. Arenas is taller, so maybe he can add more to the game than Cam Thomas. But Cam Thomas is giving you 24 points a night. He's consistently been giving that on decent efficiency, and he gets waived in the middle of the season, right? Not that many guys can give you 24 the way Cam Thomas was giving you 24, but there's this narrative that he's not giving anything else to the team. And how this all ties in is that Kingston Flemings, in my opinion, can translate sort of to where the league's going, right? The league sees, hey, Halliburton made the championship. Let's move the ball. Let's play positionless. Let's play 5 out. Anybody who gets it can bring it up, right? This is what they're looking for. And I think Kingston Flemings fits into that mold. He has the measurables. He has the long arms. He has what it takes, in my opinion, to be when we look back, the best guard in this draft. Okay, the guard that got the opportunity, that could fit on more than just a few teams. I think that's Kingston Flemings. And now we're moving on to the NBA. Shout out Jokic, man. Jokic doing his thing. He doesn't even care, but he's doing his thing. Had 22 points, I think 17 assists and 15 rebounds. I'm pretty sure. If it's not, it's 15 assists and 17 rebounds. But Jokic passed the big O for second on the triple-double list with 182 regular season triple-doubles. Now, let's check on these Bulls, right? They beat the Bulls 136 to 120. The Bulls might be one of the biggest clown shows in the NBA. I think they have 7 guards on the roster. They have, they traded 2 away, traded Kobe White, traded the Sumo away, and got Simons, you know what I'm saying? Got a lot of guys on that roster. Got Jaden Ivey, pretty much, not no disrespect, but everybody's rejects, everybody's everybody pass-ons. Yeah, we'll take those guys. They talking about getting rid of Billy Donovan. But with that team, I don't really know, at what form of that team was really valid. When they had Lonzo, had Zach LaVine, had DeMar, they were hooping. That first, third of the season. Lonzo gets hurt, things fall apart. He misses that next season, you know what I'm saying? And everybody goes their way. But yeah, man, Jokic doing his thing. Shout out Jokic. Now, I'm not the biggest fan, but hey, you can't deny greatness, man. Shout out Jokic. All right, and this is the last of the wrap-up. And this is why you shouldn't sports bet. This result right here pretty much summarizes sports betting. It pretty much summarizes the way sports in itself work. You would never expect, right after the trade deadline, the Clippers, who lost their starting point guard, James Harden, not just any regular point guard, their starting point guard, I think he was an all-NBA player last year, okay? Lost James Harden, lost their starting big man that's been there forever, Zubac, in a 20-ball, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who added somebody in Dosunmu, you know what I'm saying, got Anthony Edwards, got Gobert, they have Julius Randle, DiVincenzo played, all their guys played, and they get 20-balled by the Clippers, right? Obviously, you got Kawhi Leonard, who is next level, putting up 41 points, 8 rebounds. That's going to get it done. Then you got, you know what I'm saying, Anthony Edwards, not a struggle, but not a great Not a great game. 23 points, 7 for 18 from the field is not going to get it done. But this is just you know what I'm saying, the antithesis of college basketball. I mean, of NBA basketball, of sports betting. The stuff that you would never expect to happen is happening. And you know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Excuse me. All right. Ooh, last topic. Man, we got five people in the stream as well, man. Shout out the stream. I have my chat pulled up. But I'm not seeing anybody comment in the chat. All right, nobody commented in the chat so far, so I ain't missed nobody. Shout out the like on the video. Anyway, we're going to finish up right here. Let me make sure. I know. All right. I got the live chat ready. 4 people watching. Shout out to the 4 people watching, man. Shout out to the 4 people watching, man. Turn me up, man. All right. The last thing we're going to, okay? We've had some coaches talking. Now, I think this is the most vocal I've seen college basketball coaches in the last ever, to be honest. Now, it really started off with the NIL, with the NBA guys trying to come back, professionals coming back, and we'll get to that at a later date. But a lot of these coaches have been sounding off. Now, this week has been some sounding off for a different reason, and we're going to start off with this BYU coach. And I'm not a big fan of this stuff. I'm going to get out. I'm going to start it early. I'm not a big fan of the coaches talking, and we're going to get into it, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Here we go. This was from Wednesday, by the way, the 3rd loss in a row. All right. So, I think with this, yes, I do understand hate speech is not the play. And as athletes, we do have a potential and a role to bring people together. Of course we do. We are looked at as beacons in our communities, whatever community you are in. So yes, I do appreciate the fact that there is, the opportunity to be a role model. Now, sports is potentially, and once again, they're trying to take it away from us as well, but sports is potentially the last thing we have, man. Okay? The last thing that's somewhat sensical, if you will. And it's okay to be divided, in my opinion. It's the last semblance of, I don't want to say war, but war. Okay? War without people actually dying, war without people being pillaged, all the bad things that come with war. Play war. Okay? Let's call it play war. And I think that we need that as a society. And part of war, and what I think you should tell your locker room and should be preached to the guys, and I feel like has always been preached to the guys, is us versus the world, right? It's these, it used to be 12 guys in the locker room. Now you go to a Division I program, it's 15 players, 6 assistants, head coach, 17 managers, social media guy all in the locker room. So we'll call it even Steven 30. But yeah, you got your even Steven 30 in there. And I think it's us 30 versus the world. I think that's what it should be. So if the Mormons, first off, you like you say, you only got 4 or 5 Mormons. The guy don't care. The man said he ain't going home. He could care less. Where I'm out here in Poland right now, I'm playing. People speaking Polish to me, man, they could really be saying whatever. I can't even take it to heart because I don't understand what they're saying. It doesn't matter. That's part of the game, right? I think this is part of the game. I know it's more extreme than the overrated chants or whatever, but we're supposed to tell the stories about, hey man, we went down to University of Cincinnati and opened up their arena. Man, the crowd was loud, man. It was on us, man. They called AJ, he looked like a goofball out there. That stuff you look back at and laugh, and this is part of the sport. That's what we're doing. What do you tell your kids when you go home? You can tell your kids, man, it's life. This is what it's about. Going in there and battling and that's supposed to turn you up. After Mormon, it's supposed to turn you up. You're supposed to go to Oklahoma State, who's not very good, and you're BYU, you're a ranked team. You're supposed to go in there and take them boys out and turn around and say, nah, F you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're supposed to do, in my opinion. And, I just don't, I'm not a big fan of it, of this softening, I guess, of the sport, because once again, I feel like this is all we got. We got politics, but people taking that way too far. So we're gonna check the next one. Shire from Duke. Once again, I'm not on no hater timing, but what court storming has ever gotten guys off safely? I think that defeats the purpose of the court storm or field storm. I think field storm might be a little more dangerous, more people out there. But yeah, what's there to say? Okay, we stop court storming. That's banned. If there's a court storming, the school gets fined $50,000. Oklahoma State. That they actually did get fined $50,000 for the F the Mormons chant. What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? We say the world, there's a discourse, there's a rhetoric that the world is dull, it's numb, nothing is the same. We say this all-star game sucks. We say all these things suck. But then when when you come in and you get that real human emotion, us versus them is the human emotion, that's what we have, right? And we try to take these things away. We try to nerf the sport. Then it's never going to be, it's going to be soft. And then everybody's saying, why is it soft? The ratings are down. It went woke, all that stuff. Now, getting to UNC. UNC's not, and this is the state of the program, I think, with Hubert Davis, and that's why I say I'm not the biggest fan, is that UNC, and they're ranked 14th, by the way. UNC is not supposed to, in my opinion, be a court-storming program, right? If you're, I don't know who's buns, but Syracuse sucks, and they're in the Carrier Dome, so I don't think you can really court-storm that. But let's call it what it is. If you're Boston College and you go to Duke, or Duke comes to your house and they're number 2 in the nation, they got Cam Boozer. I think, yeah, okay, we can court storm that. But UNC court storming, not the biggest fan of that one. So I understand what Shire is saying. I do. Okay. Like he said, somebody pushes his player gets upset, punches the guy, just like DK Metcalf. I know it's a different situation, but Cam Boozer wouldn't do this, but yeah, Cam Boozer knocked somebody out. Now he's messing with his draft money. Now he's in court. Now all this stuff happens because of court storm. So I understand Shire. In parts, I agree with Shire. I think, once again, the whole thing I'm trying to get to is just this, let's not nerf the sport. Now, the last coach that has something to say, at least that went viral, is Kelvin Sampson said, you know what I'm saying, the Houston football team has no cheese. Poor. And that's a fact. That is the way it is today. Um, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense, to be honest, as far as, they're in the Big 12 now. And they did not always used to be in the Big 12. They were in the They were in the American Conference. You're playing Wichita State, who moved in there later, but you're playing Wichita State, playing Memphis, you're playing Tulsa at the time. UAB. You don't need this enormous budget to get there, right? You can be top dog there. And then they moved to the Big 12, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And something that a lot of people don't know is when you move conferences or divisions, you have to take some sanctions. And part of that sanction of going into the Big 12 is you get less money for your athletic program. So you essentially get nerfed, and you're competing with Kansas. You're competing with these big dogs who've been in the Big 12, who have money, who put all their time and effort into money. And that is what it is. And, he's been on the athletic department's head about not having no bread. He's been talking about that. So we will see. But yeah, I don't know if that gets any better for Houston. But yeah, man, a lot of coaches talking. Let me know what you think about the whole nerfing of the sports deal. You think that's real, or that's, what I'm saying? What do you think about that? But, man, my first live show. Feeling good, man. It feels good to potentially lose yourself in the show and enjoy it. And go ahead and leave me a comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think about the show, man. I'm doing my thing. We're gonna be talking basketball. I want to talk Super Bowl a little bit today, but Super Bowl was a dud anyway. Super Bowl was a dud, and I think I decided to add the Elijah Arenas in there. Only wanted to go an hour today, maybe an hour and a half, but wanted to add the Elijah Arenas segment in there, talk ball about him, because I do think he has a chance. So I bumped out the Super Bowl, but I think Super Bowl was whack jumper, snooze fest, if you will. So that is what it is, man. Like I said, I appreciate the love, the people that tapped in. We are here 9 a.m. most days on the week, dropping the clips after, just in case you miss it. So go ahead and like, subscribe, man. And I really appreciate it, man. I'm having a good time over here. So I thank you, and welcome back to the Trenton Gibson Show. It is the Trenton Gibson Show from now on. So we are here. I appreciate it, and I'm out.